So thank you for the opportunity for me to time travel and go back and remember you to where it began for me. Now, my life, as with all of us, starts with once upon a time or in the beginning, depending on what belief system you are. But a lot of us don't realize that our stories were actually being created before we were. Of course, that's why we have legacy and heritage, bloodlines, and so forth. But I was given from one African American woman to another African American woman in 1962, a week after the 4th of July. I was born on the 4th of July, 1962. My birth mother was a woman who had migrated from Arkansas with 4 other children. When she migrated a year before I wasn't even conceived, she had divorced our father because she had found out that he was actually married to 4 other women. He was an over-the-road truck driver, and by the time I was conceived, I was child number 19, right? So long story short, just to give you the Reader's Digest abbreviated version, she needed to get on her feet. She came with 4 other black women who brought their families, and they all lived, rented. They were in the projects originally for a couple of years, and then when they started getting out of there, they all lived within 4 blocks of each other. But my birth mother was being groomed, I guess you could say, by the woman who raised me until I was 11. And she suddenly passed away when I was 11. And up to that point, and I just let me back up for a second. My birth mother gave me to her just for safekeeping for a month or two while she got on her feet and tried to get out of the projects. She was walking, didn't have a vehicle, refused to go on welfare, on and on. And originally said no to the offer and took me home. I was with the family for 2 days, and then she contracted pneumonia. There was a leak in the projects in the roof of where she lived. And when the ambulance took her back to the hospital for that, they took me with her because I was a newborn. And my adoptive mother started working on her again. And so she acquiesced and turned me over to her for what she thought would be a couple months, 3 at the most. And where, love plays a part, sometimes our intentions turn things around. And so the woman who was caring for me couldn't find it for whatever reason to give me back, and they just kind of disappeared with me. And my birth mother was given a letter. I think by that time I would have been 3, that said, "Oh, I just didn't know how to tell you, but the baby died." But she said she never believed it. She knew I was. My other siblings all believed I was dead, but my mom said she didn't. And I remember, I'll never forget the day that I knocked on her door at age 32, after driving up and down her street for probably 2 hours. Then I sat in her driveway for another hour, and then I was perched on her stoop, poised to ring the doorbell for probably 20 minutes. So when she answered the door, she came in, she goes, "Well, I knew you'd get the courage to ring the bell sooner or later, and I just thought I'd wait until you were ready." She goes, "I knew this day would come." And I said, "How would you have known that?" Because I knew the story from on the phone with her the day before, that when we first spoke for the first time was the day before we met. And I said, "Well, how would you know that?" And this is in the Goldcast video. There's a Goldcast video I have that's called Lost or Found, my story of having had 22 mothers. And I said, "But you said you knew that they told you that I was dead." And she goes, "Listen, you and I were once one person. If I couldn't sleep, you couldn't sleep. If you were upset, then I got upset. So when someone told me something that was not the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, I knew it wasn't the truth.